event business I have for decades, knows all of the emotional ups and downs with that and how great it feels. So what is your connection with the fore and aft? I mean, is it the music? Is it the bar? Is it everything? Your friends? Tell me what impression this made upon you that you were instantly interested.
Well, I'm going to say it was around 73 when I started going. And I dated a couple of the bartenders and bouncers. And my best friend was married to one of the bartenders. So, we had that kind of connection. But, the bands were just great. It was the place to go. And, I remember the first night I heard Rat Race Choir, I thought it was the sound system playing. Didn't realize it was the band. So I went, oh, God, this is going to be great.
Were you a rock and roll girl? Like, when you were a kid, what was your thing? Like, with your clique, with your crowd? Were you rockers? Were you hung out with the boys? Did you hang out with the older boys? Did you hang out with boys with cars? There was such a great era. I have so many great memories of the lifestyle. What was yours back then? Do you remember?
Well, I loved rock and roll, and don't judge me, but I also liked disco because I like to dance.
Wow.
But most of the time I was at the fore and aft or the Zebra Lounge there was a bunch of places around that we used to hit, Gemini and all of the good times. But, I would say 3/4 of the time I was a rocker.
Right, and these bands, you can share some of this, right? I was talking to Jimmy about that. I remember, I was just a dyed-in-the-wool Zeppelin, right? That was the era. The Beatles were over. The acceleration of rock and roll was so intoxicating. They were getting louder. They were getting better. The songs were getting longer. The musicianship, the screaming of the vocals. I remember Twisted Sister as a bar band, and we were standing 2 inches away. I was saying this to one of my friends a couple of weeks ago. We stood on top of all the bands that we loved. There was no such thing as the back of the room. Forget that. We would meander up close. So that was a happening, right? To be in that scene was exciting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're all deaf now because of all the concerts and bars we went to.
So when you start looking ahead to the first one, and this idea of a reunion, of recapturing the fore and aft happens, what did you look forward to that worked out really well about the first one and inspires another one this year?
Well, first of all, it was crazy. It just took off so fast. In 4 weeks, we had 2,000 people on our Facebook page. That's just nuts. So Mike and I knew, and once we got Charles involved, we knew this was real and it was coming and happening. And we kept saying to ourselves, I can't believe this is taking off the way it is. It was just crazy.
Now, the charity side of it makes it even more goody good, right? This is, two birds at one shot. We're going to have a fantastic time. Somebody who really needs help is going to get help off of our good time. When did charity come into the thinking of it, and how did you guys select the charities?
Right from the beginning, we said, because Mike's been involved with charities. I was involved with a local charity. Right from the beginning, we said, we got to do this as a benefit. Okay. People love hearing music. They love knowing they can help out at the same time. The way we picked them, I was involved with Ann's Place a little bit, which is a cancer organization. So they were on the top of my list. And then we had Hillside Food, which Mike was involved with, and we just took it from there.
Really good. Really good. So, I love you. I don't know how else to say it. You're the kind of person who you get an idea and it feels good inside and it's connected to who you are. Then all of a sudden, awesome things come from it. What's the life lesson there? That's got to be great for everybody. And all ages need to hear this. Look at all the good coming from a good idea. Well, what does that show you, Julie?
Well, it's always good to help people out. Everybody should get involved in something. But it also shows to me that, good music never dies.
Right, and the thing it does for us, it keeps working too, right? Puts a smile on our face. I'm with you. I was at the disco on some nights because I love dancing. Also, rock and disco really were competitors, weren't they? Like at the high school and in the parking lot, but not with you and me. We were in both crowds.
I liked it all. I like to dance. I always say you can listen and sing to rock and roll, but you dance to disco.
You got it. Well, it is a real pleasure meeting you. I congratulate you beyond all, because what you've started here now has taken on a life of its own. You and Mike really tapped into something.
Yeah, it like I said, it was crazy. It took on a life of its own.
What are some of the things that you're doing now in the final 2 weeks? Is everything buttoned down off of your desk, or do you still have a to-do list of things right up until showtime?
We have a few more things to do. We're getting the playbill together. Kelly Aldinolfi, who is Charles's office manager, has done a kick-ass job at doing all of our promotions and our email blasts and publicity. I mean, she just does all the computer work. I mean, she's done a great job. She doesn't get the notice she should. But
I would like to second that, because I work with Kelly a lot behind the scenes. She's a great guest booker. She put this entire show together a couple of weeks ago. Called me and said, Ed, I need to talk to you for like 10 minutes. We were on the phone for like an hour, and it was extraordinary preparation. And Mike is the same way. They're a very powerful team, those two. Plus, they listen to us all the time. So I always feel like they're around. I always feel like Kelly's down the hall. Mike's just next door. They're terrific people. And Charles, this is a big undertaking. So you want it done by a professional who really knows his stuff. You know what I mean? You don't want to fool around.
Oh, yeah. Charles has been doing this for a long time. So that's, one of the reasons we brought him on. Plus, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah. And, that's another thing about the fore and aft era. I don't know, and I'm not even going to ask what you think of this world right now, because that's all anybody is ever talking about. There's too much of what's happening now. But I will say one of the great differences was there were friendships in those days that were less complicated. Today, it's a very crazy matrix of whatever. But years ago, you even knew people whose name you didn't know. You would just regularly see them and go, hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on? Hey, nice to see you.
Yeah.
I miss that world. I miss that world. You remind me of that world. This whole benefit is going to recapture some of that old world.
Yeah, I mean, Woodstock was a perfect example of all the peace and love. I mean, get that many people together and have no issues. It's just such a different world now.
Thank you for saying that. All the Woodstock talk recently, that's the point that doesn't get said enough. All of those people basically getting along. Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I know you must be excited. It's only 2 weeks away now. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you coming?
I'm going to make every effort. We're launching a whole... what we're doing, you're on a show today that's national show, and it's been in a launch for the last 60 days. So if I can get this all together, I absolutely will be there, because those are all my buddies, but I am in the middle of a big undertaking myself. That's why I relate to you guys. We're in a countdown for October 1st over here, and your date is the 28th of September.
Oh, geez. Okay. So we're pretty close.
You got it. So we're doing the same thing, but I look forward to meeting you and to enjoying the event, because it sounds so awesome.
Yeah, same here.
You bet. Well, Julie, thank you for the time today. Keep listening. We're going to have some more great interviews and talk some more about it, and we'll have plenty to put out on social media over the next 2 weeks.
Thank you for that. We appreciate it.
You bet. Well, I appreciate your time today. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks.
You got it. Julie Shake. Don't you love that gal? See, that's what it's all about. That's what we had going for us back in the day. If you hung around with us when we were 18, 19, rocking it, hanging with our friends, doing our thing, that's the way it went. We know where we're going. We know what we're doing. We're nice to people. We're not going to, nobody wanted to go to, I'm not saying nobody did. Don't try to over-sanitize it, Ed Tyll. But we were not really, for the most part, going to jail over what we did. We were not going to get rated what we were doing. Today, I would always have a phone number with me. I would walk around with 5 lawyers' phone numbers in my pocket today if I was a 19-year-old kid. It's crazy. But we had the fore and aft. The fore and aft is coming back for at least one day, September 28th. And I'm going to read you all the data that you need, and I'm going to keep putting this online over the next 2 weeks, so this will be easy for you to attend. Saturday, September 28th, fore and aft benefit classic rock concert and festival is returning to Danbury, Connecticut's Ives Concert Park music venue because Mike Policastro put up a post. He put up a post on Facebook. Do you think anybody would be interested in a reunion of the fore and aft? It is seen by our last guest. It's the chemical reaction. It's the fusion, the fission, whatever those guys do in the inside of the lab. Then it starts to ripple out. And then everybody's like, hey, you heard about the foreign? Oh, my God, last year that was a fantastic thing. They should do that. Well, they are doing it again. What? Last year's reunion that was so? Absolutely. And they're having new bands. They're having more people. It was so popular. It is so big. $1 billion babies are going to headline it. Wow. It's quite a spot on your calendar. September 28th, Saturday, be there. Doors open at noon. This is a 10-hour extravaganza. So stay with us. In a couple of minutes, we're going to talk to Charles Rosenet. And then I have a few people on the list that may or may not be able to join us. I'm going to get everybody in that has a minute for us because let's face it, who doesn't want to go back to those days just for one night?
Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll, Ed Tyll.
The fore and aft benefit is Saturday, September the 28th. Danbury, Connecticut, at the Ives Concert Park music venue. Doors open at 12 noon. Founding members of the Alice Cooper Band as $1 Billion Babies will headline the extravaganza. The all-star band is made up of rock and roll Hall of Famers Michael Bruce, Dennis Dunaway, and Neil Smith. Wow. Rock and roll royalty, man. They will be joined by rockers The Good Rats, Bonnie Parker and Tang, Sapphire, Jimmy Heslin's Sapphire, Direct Drive, Dan's Garage, Emily Band, Good Time Charlie's Band, and the Stone Cold Band. Very first fore and aft opened at the cusp of the 1960s, literally in 1959. 60 years ago, Grandpa.
Yeah, the Ed Tyll.
Come on, Grandpa, let's go do a shot and a beer. I even have an egg for you. You bring an egg for Grandpa. An egg? Yeah, you put an egg in his beer.
Say it to you anyway. He's got the sharpest tongue in this whole damn town. Ed Tyll, he's the baddest cat around. Meow. If you catch my drift, are we copacetic here? Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody to the show. To the show. The Ed Tyll Show. Ed Till's got all the news and storylines, talking about all the main events. He's just a voice in the wilderness. Don't make no sense. Yeah, so come on, everybody, to the Ed Tyll way of thinking. Cause he never searches for middle ground. My man Ed don't sit on no fence. He's sorting facts with a razor's edge. And that, my friend, can be mightily intense. He's more than just a voice on the radio, sending out the truth to those who don't know. Man, if you can't see the world out there, you better watch out. Ed Tyll strip you bare. Come on, on everybody to the show. To the show. To the Ed Tyll Show. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll. You may not like what he has to say, but he's gonna say it to you anyway. He's the baddest cat around. Got the sharpest tongue in this whole damn town. He's Ed Tyll, Ed Tyll. All the news and storylines to all the main events. Ed Tyll's just a voice in the wilderness that just don't make no sense. He's Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, Ed Tyll. More than just a voice on the radio. Sending out the truth to those who don't know. And if you can't see your world out there, you better watch out. Ed Tyll will strip you bare.
Ed Tyll. You may not like what he says, Ed Tyll, but he'll say it anyway, Ed Tyll. He's the baddest cat around, Ed Tyll. He's got the sharpest tongue in town of all the news and storylines. Through all the main events, there's a voice in the wilderness. Because you know, it doesn't make any sense.
All right, you are listening to the Ed Tyll Show on edtyll.com.
Ed Tyll. You may not like what he says, Ed Tyll, but he'll say it anyway, Ed Tyll. He's the baddest cat in town, Ed Tyll. He's got the sharpest tongue around.
Coming up, we will talk to, this is going to be so exciting, man. We're going to talk to Dennis Dunaway of the $1 Billion Babies. This is a guy who was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Dennis Dunaway is going to be on the show. Are you excited? I'm thrilled about that. I'm going out of my mind about the era that we are celebrating.
From the voice on the radio to the TVs on TV. And if you can't see a world out there,
All right, we're also looking forward to Stefan Marcello of the Good Rats, Ken Carpenter of Stone Cold Band, George Nesky of Direct Drive, and as I mentioned before, Mike Policastro is going to join us. He's going to talk about being the primogenitor of all of this. This is really good. Rick Tedesco is also performing, as Jimmy said before, with $1 Billion Babies, and we're going to talk to him shortly. But up next, Charles Rosenet from behind the scenes of producing successful and fun events like this. It's going to be a great interview. We've had Charles on before. He's an interesting guest, so stand by. It's the Fore and Aft, their big reunion. It all started last year with one guy putting a post up on Facebook and bands saying, I want to come for the reunion. We'll play for you guys. And friends and people that were part of the scene just jumped on this. And now everybody wants a part of it, and it's a lot of fun. So it's now happening second year in a row. This is the second reunion for the Fore and Aft. It's the 2019 version. It's bigger and better than ever.
Get around, he got the sharpest tongue in this whole damn town. Ed Tyll, Ed Tyll. Come on, everybody, to the Ed Tyll presents. Everybody, come on, everybody, listen to the Ed Tyll Show. Ed Tyll.
Never looks for middle ground, never sits on a fence.
Talking facts with a razor's edge can be a little intense. He's more than just a voice on the radio.
Hey, Charles.
Rose, thanks for calling the Liverpool Productions mobile cell phone. Appreciate your call. I obviously can't pick up now, so leave a message. Give me your phone number. Tell me when I can call you back and tell me who you are. I look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks. Bye.
All right, let's try his other number. This is, live radio is always like that. You always tell people, be ready early. Know that when the phone rings, you'll be live on the air, but, you do the best you can. All right, we have 2 phone numbers for him, so we're gonna try a second one. Let's see. Yeah. No, you listen. It's always fun. Always fun. Let's get on here. Like to set. So I generally like to set them up, and on one ring, they're just right there, ready to go. But let's see if we can raise him on the other line there. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a, are we there? Yeah, okay, good. He should pick right up on this. I think we're about 3 minutes early also. Let's see, we get a hold of him. Charles Rosenet, promoter. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Charles, Ed Tyll, you're live on the radio. How are you today?
I'm great. Are we clear? Can you hear me okay?
It's terribly noisy. Are you on a speakerphone or what are you on?
I'm changing it. Tell me
Yeah,
if
there
this
you
is
go.
better.
Yeah, great. You got it.
Is that better?
Oh my God, 100%. So welcome back to the show. It's been a while since you and I have spoken.
I know. I think we might have talked about Beatles back then.
We did, and now here we are talking about a whole era. I've been doing the whole show today about the fore and aft era. It was a part of my youth, and the backdrop for this club. I don't know. What were your personal thoughts when you heard about this? Did you have specific memories about that era, about that joint?
So now I was born in the Bronx, but I grew up in Connecticut, lived in New Haven. So my version of Fore and Aft was Toad's Place. And Toad's Place would get in all, the same rock acts and all that. But I knew of Fore and Aft because Fore and Aft would advertise on all the rock stations, the WPLR, all the great classic rock stations here. So I would hear, Twisted Sister and all these amazing acts coming to Fore and Aft, and it would drive me crazy because there wasn't just one of them. There was, one in New York, one over the border, one here, and I thought, wow, these places must be, just rock and roll palaces. I envisioned, the Paradise in Boston. I envisioned, the greatest clubs in the world. I'd never gone.
Wow.
So when I was approached by the producers who were interested in putting this together, and I said, well, yeah, I would love to, but why me? And they'd known, my history of producing Beatle music festivals and all this, and they said that my element of production would make for the perfect teaming, and it really did. Last year we did the first one. We had groups like Rat Race Choir and Richie Scarlett and all these local legends. And I said, yeah, I want to be involved, but I want to be able to every year make it better. I want the next year to get national acts and always grow and grow. And that's why this year we're so happy to have brought in the $1 Billion Babies, all the Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, the guys in Alice Cooper's band, and the Good Rats, who always played every club on the East Coast when I was growing
Right.
up. So a lot of those names, were so important to me in my past. I said these are the type of names I want to bring to the show, and we always wanted to up the ante. And if we do it again, maybe we'll have you host, and we'll have Dee Snider. We'll find new ways to make it better.
It's funny you're talking about Dee Snider now. We were talking about Twisted Sister in a previous segment. I grew up seeing Twisted Sister at the Poorhouse on Tremont Avenue in the Bronx. I'm also a Bronx kid. And
Tremont Avenue is where I went to the movies. I lived on East 181st Street.
wow, look at this. We were like neighbors, right? So
Holy cow.
that was Loewy's Paradise was on Fordham Road, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Lowe's Paradise, one of the most beautiful theaters ever built.
Oh, my God. I think I saw a couple of Dracula movies there with Pat Horgan. We would take the bus, have to take the number 13 or whatever to get over there. But, that was a special era. So what's being recaptured here is not just the fore and aft, the club, the address, the venue. It's the idea. You said it yourself. You hear the commercials. It's coming at you. It's the excitement of youth. This week, Twisted Sister. You're like, yes, I better be off from work. I better have some money. I better get some gas in the car. This has to happen. I got to find a woman. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we felt that. Last year we did the first one, and it was just the outpouring of people saying, wow, this brought back such an era, because people were seeing people there. Last year we called it a reunion, and we took out the word reunion because we didn't want people who'd never been to Far and Aft thinking they can't come to the event because it was a reunion of people who went there. But the people who went there were like, oh, I saw people who I hadn't seen in 20 years. It was just so great, the vibe. And they got to see the bands they loved, and they got to hear the music they grew up with. But it was like I don't know, a mini Woodstock, but that kind of shared feeling.
That's
of
it. That's
yeah,
what it is.
yeah,
It's
a shared feeling.
A shared feeling, and as you said, the idea of a reunion does sound like the same dudes, but I think it's so electric, it's so exciting that of its own, there's just a curiosity factor. Oh my God! Oh wow! I want to see, I want to feel, I want to be next to this. In a world as we're in at this moment, Charles, these are more treasured experiences than ever. They are the true antidote to the world.
So true, so true. I mean, you just being in a place and being happy and being among happy people.
Right.
Music does it. Beyond anything else.
So
I run a haunted house, and I like to think, okay, that does it. Or I do my Beatle tours to England, that does it, and those do too. But when you can get when you can catch, I guess it's lightning in a bottle,
right.
and have an event where the people, they can forget about the aggravations of the day and the bigger picture of life and all that. And, they can just come and listen to music. It's all day. We open the doors.
I mentioned that. I said 12. You open up at 12. You're going until 10 p.m. at night. And I want to ask you, because you've been doing this a while, so you can help the audience understand what it's like to be from your vantage point. You're going to put three dudes on stage from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but you're also going to put three dudes on stage that myself and other people like me drove all the way to Long Island in 1973 to the Nassau Coliseum, and we saw the same exact gentleman up there throwing plastic billion-dollar babies into the audience, and we were having like an incredible experience of our lives. We were out of our minds, Charles, and you're bringing them back to us in the flesh. What's that like for you? What does it look like and sound like on your side of the desk, having some incredible icons like that come back to the people who love them, orchestrating that? What's that like?
Boy, I'm more proud of it now than I was going into it, because you verbalized that so great, seeing them, on stage as Gods with Alice, at the Nassau Coliseum. I saw them with the Guillotine Show, pre-Billion-Dollar Babies with Alice, at a place called the New Haven Arena, which doesn't exist. The security was so non-existent. I sat on stage. The drummer lost his ring, and I picked it up. handed it to him. He gave me a drumstick while the show was on. That's my memory of the Alice Cooper show.
Right.
And now I'm working with the guys. So Neil Smith is the drummer, Dennis Dunaway and Michael Bruce. All three of them are there. I'm proud. That's the first thing that comes to mind is that I'm proud that we're able to bring them, to an audience where it's I want to say intimate. It'll still be a few thousand, but it'll still be great. And they're still around and they're still playing. And I think they're going to feed off the whole vibe. And that's just one of the acts. I mean, there's all the others who either played Fore and Aft as
Right.
they are now,
Right.
or played it in other bands. And you're talking about a bigger picture. So if someone comes at noon, they'll have lunch, they'll have a nosh, whatever. The first band goes on at 1. They'll play for 40 minutes. There'll be a 15, 20-minute break. People can then walk around because it's a festival style. So there's a break from the music, but there's not a break from the activities. There's the food trucks. There's the vendors selling stuff. There's memorabilia. There's T-shirts. There's all that swag and merch and all that great stuff. And then the next band, and it continues on. And then, of course, they're not even the finale band. The Good Rats are. I think the Good Rats will go on at 9, and before them it'll be the Billion Dollar Babies at 8 o'clock. So there'll be a chance to breathe, 15, 20 minutes between every act while they turn the stage over. But it's a full day of just great music, and one will be better than the next.
I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. I love the way I'm hearing Billion Dollar Babies in my head, and that song starts with that and I'm like, oh my God, this is what's gonna happen in 2 weeks. This is real. This is not just me remembering it. Charles, thank you so much for the visit. What are the highlights of the day that first-timers, they've never heard of this before, but they tune into that, they go, these guys are having too much fun. We have to go. Do a brief 15, 20-second orientation for first-timers to this event.
It's the ultimate classic rock festival, and I don't use the word concert because it's 9 concerts, it's 9 bands. So it's a festival. You're going to go there. You could bring kids, you could bring family. There'll be, of course, adult drinks available, but it's nonstop stuff. You can walk around to the vendors, you can walk around to the food trucks, and then you can plop yourself down and just enjoy the best music of all time. The 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that great rock and roll that's going to get everyone just having the greatest day of their lives.
You got it, Charles. Good Rats, Bonnie Parker and Tang, Sapphire, Direct Drive, Dan's Garage, Emily Band, Good Time Charlie's Band, the Stone Cold Band, and of course Billion Dollar Babies. And then the Good Rats, you say, are going to wrap it up?
They are, and I will be there at the door greeting everybody. What could be better?
I see. We're the same guy. We're the same guy, dude. There is nothing more fun than to watch them come in. Come on in. This is great. Oh, come on. It's going to be terrific. Thank you for the time today. Congratulations.
Great talking to you.
On all of your success, man. Really.
Thank you so much. See you on the 28th. Take care. Bye, Ed.
You got it. Ed Tyll, live on edtyll.com. It's the Fore and Aft, baby. Back.
Grew up working class in a place they call the Bronx.
This is Pat Horgan and the Thunder Road Band performing the Ed Tyll theme song, I Can Tell You. Pat Horgan was running the clubs in those days also, playing amazing music. That's what got us off our asses. Let's be honest about it, people. The music was so freaking good, you had to do something about it.
Now that you tuned them in, you know what I mean. People call him up, discussing every scene. Love him or hate him, he's gonna have his say. He's gonna speak his mind each and every day. It's the Ed Tyll Show. It's the Ed Tyll Show. Come on, everybody. It's Ed Tyll.
All right, if you're just joining us, it's a fantastic Friday show. Coming up, we're going to talk with Rick Tedesco. He is performing with Billion Dollar Babies Saturday, September 28th, the Fore and Aft reunion. Actually, it's the benefit, it's the concert, it's the all-day extravaganza. It's going to be fantastic, and you really need to make plans to be there for the entire day. Ives Concert Park in Danbury is the location. Doors open at 12. This is going to be all-day festival, concerts, special guests, surprise appearances, food trucks, vendors, and much more. It's Danbury, Connecticut, baby. You need to be there on Saturday, September 28th. God, better not miss this. You better not miss it. It all came about because a great guy. There's always a great guy. There's always a great human being in a moment behind every great thing. Here's a guy sitting on Facebook one day. He's thinking about the Fore and Aft, and he types the words, you think anybody would be interested in getting together for the Fore and Aft. And people came from every which way. Julie Shaker was with us before. She saw it. I love how things happen in life. She's getting ready to retire. And she said, I needed a hobby. And she found one, a club that she used to love to go to, an era that she used to love to go out with her friends and party. And as she said, she would rock and roll one night and disco dance the other night. So that idea from Mike Policastro ricochets off of Julie Shaker, bounces around, and before you know it, the bands are saying, we want to play. The venues are like, yeah, let's go. Charles Rosenet, as you heard before, a talented promoter, has done all kinds of things like this. He gets in it. And now, what are we looking at in 2 weeks? We're looking at the Alice Cooper Billion Dollar Babies Band. We're looking at Rock and Roll Hall of Famers on stage. Also, one of the things I really enjoyed talking with Jimmy about, and I think what we're doing today is opening the door to revisit some of these folks. We've only scratched the surface today on this era, and the Fore and Aft is a great focal point for us today. But when I start to reflect on some of Jimmy's experience with Sapphire, I remember being a kid, teenager, and the bands were not all in the same genre either. You had the Jethro Tull and the Zeppelin sound, but you also had the sound of other bands that were of the time amazing. Popular music, pop, top 40 is the pejorative, right? That people want to put it down. But we had a hell of a top 40 list in those days. We had extraordinary artists and bands coming at us all the frickin' time. And they were coming from every which way. Super loud, acoustic, lyrically driven, storytelling to, staccato, slam it over the head loud. And, look, I remember the same afternoon as a kid in high school, in one afternoon, my friend Gary Chilfian, I don't know where he is right now, and his lovely new bride, Jennifer, love these guys from high school. Gary turned me on to 2 albums on the same day. Here we are in the 70s, high school. Here's the 2 albums. First, we sit down and we play Trace Hombres by ZZ Top all the way through on the vinyl. Next album, the debut from Black Sabbath. So it's Western, and then it's rain and thunder in the funeral mode of the graveyard. Yeah. So that's the era that we grew up in. We were rolling in quality. I mean, there was garbage. I mean, there was some crap out there. There's always a little bit of crap. But the volume or the percentage of a crap in that era, even the crappy crap in that era, had something going for it because it was just an amazing era. And, the other eras that came afterwards, all the heavy metal guys, Metallica people, the hairband people, I know Motley Crue and all that. It's still it's great. Listen, it gives people a good time. All of that as crazy as it got, as weird. You know, my kind of weird is the $1 Billion Babies guys. Alice Cooper, 1973. That's my kind of weird. You know, they put out that album with the School's Out with the underwear in it. Remember that one? Alice Cooper, School's Out, and there's a girl's underwear in there. And I remember you're like a kid going, whoa, can they send? And then they go, it's not really a girl's underwear. It's a little swag. They're trying to make believe it's girl's underwear. And you go, oh, okay. Because when you first look at it, you're a boy. And you've just got Alice Cooper's album. That's tough enough to explain to your father. What the hell are you listening to in there? What's that noise you got on in there? That's Alice Cooper. What the hell? Alice Cooper? It's a man. It's a guy. What the hell's he wearing? That era. Love that era. Come on. How much fun was it that your parents didn't understand or didn't get? One night I was watching a thing on PBS, and it must have been 1970 or something, and I guess it was because Cream had broken up. And so it was a PBS documentary on the supergroup from Britain, blah, blah, blah. My dad walks in, and they're doing some song, and it's all psychedelia, whatever. He looks at the TV. He looks at me. He turns off the television. He goes, I'm not letting them do that to you. And I go, what? What do you mean? What? Not doing anything. I'm in on it. I want to do this. He thought that I was like hypnotized and against my will, like Jim Jones, that I was watching the Cream. So that's the era that this is all about. Incredible talent, people, human beings in the era of the fore and aft were so less encumbered. Jimmy and I think, covered that a little bit. You know, in those days, you get in the car, you go somewhere. Nobody texts you along the way, pick this up, go the other way. You don't put a GPS on, turn left, there's traffic, take the highway. None of this. We don't have to deal with any of that. You get in the car. And you know where you're going, and when you get there, you get there. And, you know, if you're a band, you know, you got your guitar, you got your drumsticks, you got your microphone. That's it. Life was point A. Now what are we doing? Oh, we're here. Oh, I guess we're going to what? Sound check? Yeah. And then we're going to do our set? Yeah. Life was so much less complicated. Now you say, what did we do with all that time? We're at the fore and we're going to the fore and aft tonight. All right, I'll see you there about 9:30, 10 o'clock. That's good. Now I got 2.5 hours to kill. What am I doing? Am I Facebooking? Am I shopping on Amazon? Am I playing Sudoku? What am I doing? No, I'm not doing any of that. I'm living. I'm living the life so that when I see somebody, I will actually have had life in between that I will be able to talk about. Instead of, you know what I just saw on Facebook? Somebody put on my Facebook. Somebody tweeted. Somebody put on my website. Somebody put on a blog. Somebody typed. Somebody put up an image. Somebody put up a... Blah, blah, blah. Shut up! You want to say, these are the guys from Alice Cooper. Could you be quiet? That's Dennis frickin' Dunaway. Stop. Boy, do you think Dennis has a Twitter handle? How do I get to his Facebook friends? Could I go to his page? Could I... You better calm down. Do you know how to enjoy a note on a guitar from song? Do you know how to feel good about a melody and a guitar solo and a drum beat? Does that any of that... I don't know. What is all of that? I get everything from YouTube. You are going to be rescued. We are going to rescue you on September 28th. I am going to kidnap you, take all your devices, remove all electronica from you. Then I'm going to put cash. I'm going to take all your plastic and I'm going to impound it. I'm going to give you cash. And I'm going to say, go in there, buy food. Go in there, talk to the people, look at what they're wearing, listen to the words they use, look at their hairstyles, listen to the accents of their voices, look at their feet, see what kind of sneakers they have on. I want you to have a real life experience. Oh, God, I don't know if I can do it. Until's frightening me. Until scared me.
No, and if you can't see your world out there, you better watch out. The man is gonna strip you bare. Hey, is it Tyll? Is it Tyll? It Tyll.
is performing with $1 Billion Babies. We welcome to the Ed Tyll Show on edtyll.com, Rick Tedesco. Hey, Rick.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man. Thanks. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Ah, no problem.
You got it.
It's an honor.
Oh, listen to this. You know, Jimmy's Act Shop up there is such a gathering point for the people who truly love music. And I've been letting it sink in on me this whole broadcast that I'm going to look up on stage and see the exact three same dudes that I saw at the Nassau Coliseum with Alice Cooper, I don't know, 1973 years ago. That is still going to happen in front of me. How magical is music, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, you know, these guys are still around. They're still the same guys. They're still doing what they love to do. And, you know, I'm just lucky enough to be, you know, in the mix of the whole thing. It's an honor for me, too. I mean, I had their posters on my wall, too. So sometimes, you know, I do that, what? How did I get here?
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
Kind of thing. Yeah, I'm, you know, as big a fan as anybody, you know.
When you first started playing, and now you're going to play with them and everything in between, does it ever get unspecial along the way? The fans, we always want to know. You know, we'll watch you guys stretch a note. We'll watch you hit a chord. And then we want to believe what's coming at us. You know what I mean? We kind of like make it up. For you, isn't it still exciting to watch us react?
Yeah, I mean, if there's no reaction, it's just a lot of hard work with no purpose, you know? I mean, the reaction is the whole, you know, food that keeps it going. You know, that's it. If your audience is with you, it's the best feeling in the world. If your audience is not with you, it is not fun.
Well, along the way, how did you learn about that? Were you rudely awakened early in your career by them not feeling you? And how did you get introduced to the experience that you just mentioned?
It's, you know, there's a billion guys like, you know, not to use billion, but there is literally probably a million guys just like me that, you know, they're out there, they're honing their craft, they're getting good at what they do, they have the passion, they have everything. But then there's a whole other component to it, and that's just being lucky, you know, finding other guys that are like-minded, having that click into something that people embrace, and then, you know, taking it, you know, all the steps to keeping it all together. It's, you know, there's a reason why, you know, 1 in a million bands becomes successful. And I said that to Dennis. One night we were hanging out somewhere having a martini, just bullshitting or talking. I don't know if I can say that, but
I got you covered. I got you covered on that. No problem.
Sorry. Bull beep. And I just looked at him. I said, do you realize the odds that you beat going from, hey, let's play the variety show in high school to being on the top band on the planet? That journey. How, you know, talk about lightning in a bottle. How the odds were so stacked against that happening, yet it still did. It's amazing.
It is, because you'll look at TV and they'll show you the planet, the beautiful blue marble. Then you think about a country on that planet. Then you think about this tiny, tiny pinpoint that could fit all of this amazing talent. When did you get hooked all in, like, this is me, I must do this, I'm doing it, that's it, I don't care what happens?